Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Biz-Network. I'm your host, Ken Nichols. My guest today is Amber Gaige from Far Beyond Marketing, a full-service marketing company. I hope you'll enjoy the conversation. Hi, Amber. How are you?
I'm great, Ken. How are you today?
Good. Thanks for joining us here. So tell me about Amber Gaige. I have your website up right here. And of course, the first line I see about you is Amber Gaige is a third-generation entrepreneur. So I'm
It is
interested
true.
in beginning with that. So tell me how that all flows into your background and your capabilities.
Yeah, absolutely. So I came from an entrepreneurial family. Obviously, my grandfather was a TV repairman and had multiple companies to support his family. My mother was the first in her family to actually graduate from college. And then she and my stepfather started several businesses together and still run them together to this day. So I grew up in an entrepreneurial environment. I was homeschooled. And so I spent half my day doing school and half my day working in the office. So at 8 years old, I was answering the office phones and doing filing for my dad. And then in 2013, my parents said, after I graduated from Baylor University, Sic 'em Bears, my parents came to me and said, it's time for you to run a business and you're going to start this business while simultaneously running our businesses. And I thought, oh, okay, I like a good challenge. So I started my first marketing agency in 2013 with no customers, no clients, no employees, no anything. And then by 2018, just 5 years later, that business was acquired by private equity. And I had the privilege of taking my knowledge and experience on a national level and serving entrepreneurs by building national brands. And that was a lot of fun. And then ultimately ended up relaunching my company about 4 years ago so that I could be very involved with my 8-year-old son. And finally realizing that my passion in life is serving fellow entrepreneurs by protecting them from marketing that doesn't work and by providing them with marketing solutions that do not confuse and that actually produce a positive return on investment. So I'm very blessed with a phenomenal team out of Dallas, Texas. And that's what we do. We serve business owners who are serious about scaling their businesses.
Well, that's quite a background story. I'm a little bit similar. I don't have my family wasn't in business, but I jumped in at a early age. You can tell I'm a little older, and I jumped into my first business when I was 28 years old in manufacturing.
Oh,
And again,
great.
had no customers and really didn't even know much about what I was doing, except I was going to give it a try after I'd
Yeah.
been in broadcasting for a while, doing some news and sports and some
Yeah,
other stuff. And so those of us that take this path, we know it's not easy, but there's a lot of satisfaction to it.
there is.
Marketing, that's such a big word, it just seems like that's such a wide topic that there's so many people in it from so many different angles. You want to work with smaller businesses versus larger businesses? Is that what you try to do if you can, or do you don't really care the size of the business?
We actually have several different tracks of services for the companies that we serve. So, for the businesses that are smaller who don't have the revenue to sustain hiring an outside agency, we empower them through our master marketing or mastermind about marketing. We meet with them once a month and mentor them and coach them. I also have an international best-selling book that we provide so that they can read about the 4 C's of effective marketing to grow their company. And then we actually have a marketing course that they can take or assign to their team so that they can take the concepts of marketing and implement it themselves. And then ideally, as their company grows, then we'd be more than happy to do services for them. So that's the empowerment element of our company. For the smaller companies, for the national brands and the larger businesses that we serve, we are a full model agency where we create customized strategies based upon the operational goals of the business leaders. So we're working with a company that's launching a national franchise right now. We work with a lot of attorneys, we work with a lot of financial advisors, a lot of home services, and we really allow the operational goals to tell us what kind of marketing should sustain the company. So we don't put
Nope.
people in a box, unlike other agencies.
And where do you market your company? Is it in the Texas region, or is it more national or regional? Where do you get your
It is more
clients?
national. So we have a great PR firm. I've been featured on business.com, smallbusinessesofamerica.com. I'm a keynote speaker. My book is sold in 4 different countries. So we do not have to have a limitation on the clients that we serve. We love to serve clients all over the United States.
Marketing today, it's defined differently than it was years ago, right?
Yeah.
We've got all this social media and all these other platforms. So how do you direct somebody? Are you looking for them to give you the direction on where they want to go, or are you taking a specific type of client and say, here's what I think we need to do for your type of business? And the second part of that question is, are there specific industries or professions that you tend to lean more towards as far as client base goes?
Sure, sure. It has been interesting the diversification that has come our way over the last few years. Being a plumber's daughter, I did start out mainly supporting the trades: HVAC, plumbing, roofing,
Yeah.
mechanical trades, manufacturing. I was a CIO, CMO for a manufacturing company in Wisconsin for many years. But in recent times, we have been sought out by doctors, lawyers, products that are wanting to go to market. We are serving multiple restaurants right now, national franchises. So we're really pretty industry agnostic as long as the company has aggressive growth goals and they want to understand why what they are doing is not currently working or why their marketing or growth has stalled. That's when they typically come to us. We do not start with the idea of this is what you need to do. We listen. When a new company comes to us, we ask them questions like, tell us about your goals. What's working? What's not working? Are you seeking to build a national franchise? Or are you seeking to do some recruiting? Do you need more calls on your board or do you need more clients on a retainer basis? And then, per the direction of those business owners, we design customized strategies with the upholding marketing tactics to say, in your specific case, maybe you should invest in search engine optimization. Maybe you should stay away from paid ads. So we really work hand in hand with our clients on a partnership level to give them a mix of tactics that will grow their business.
Okay. Well, we have something else in common. My father was a plumber. He was a master plumber. Yeah.
Okay, mine
I still,
too.
I still have his over 60 years in the union card is still in my wallet today.
I love that. I have my dad's responsible master plumber card
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's pretty cool.
I
So,
love that.
yeah. So, people obviously they have to have a sounds like they have to have a pretty good budget nowadays in marketing with so many things going on. So if you're a smaller business, as you well know, and I know from I was in manufacturing for 20 years, and then I morphed into the insurance profession and had an insurance agency, family business, 23 years. We just merged in 2023 with a national company, private equity based. So another thing I saw on your website, or actually in your podcast profile that you sent me. So when someone talks about marketing, how do you help them understand the cost that's going to be behind this, depending what they want to do?
Depending on what they want to do, we present to them some of our packages that allow them to control their budget. We also don't do any kind of long term contracts. We don't want to lock people into something that's not successful. We want to earn their business every 30 days. So we have three different levels of packages that we can offer, but then we also have a la carte options as well. So we try and match the right product, service, or package to the desired outcomes of the business. And then we're very transparent with our clients. If it isn't working after 90 days, we're going to tell them straight up, I think we need to try this mix. I think we need to pull this. I think we need to put budget here, because we are very much analytics and AI driven as an organization.
So tell me about the AI piece. I've been reading a lot about it lately and starting to use it a little bit. How do you see that impacting people's businesses from the traditional way they're used to doing business? How is AI impacting them going forward?
Well, I think that AI allows us to function at a greater capacity and with heightened efficiency. However, AI is still AI. And if you put crap in, you're going to get crap out. So the beautiful blend is that when you can identify the best prompts and voice for AI and then fine tune it with your own critical thinking, that's when you win the day. We personally believe that AI is here to stay. We're not threatened by it as marketers. I don't believe it's going to take over our jobs, you're always going to have a strategist. You're always going to have an out of the box thinker to analyze results and help you to understand where you should pivot. But we do utilize AI from the perspective of real time learning algorithms, pixels on websites, data correspondence, data amalgamation, automation for project managers. I mean, we want to make sure that we are putting AI in the best work for our clients so that they can scale quickly. And we love the power of AI, and we certainly love harnessing the power of data science, because gone are the days where people are just going to accept fairy dust and magic is how my marketing is working. No, people expect real data.
Well, I think we have something in common. It sounds like it. I know from my businesses that personal relationships always meant a lot to me. And I was a relationship driven business. As you know, when private equity becomes involved and Big Brother becomes involved,
Yep.
and I can just say from actual experience that as much as you want to maintain being customer service relationship based, you move into what I call the transactional category.
That's right.
And everybody says, no, we're not transactional. We're going to maintain. No, you're not. You're not
Mhm.
going to maintain that, because once you scale up like that, you cannot do it.
That's right.
And so I'm sure, I don't know about your personal experience, but I'm sure you run into clients that customer service is what made their business.
Yeah.
And nowadays, and you used to be what? A newspaper ad and
Yep. Or a
let's
book.
see, a
Yep.
flyer,
Yep.
some other type of material. Now, all of a sudden, all of us are bombarded with, I mean, there are so many platforms out there. Again, at my age, I don't know them and I don't want to know them.
Yeah.
It just is, it's for that younger group. I would think it'd be pretty complicated now for business owners to try to make these decisions without someone like you helping, giving them some direction.
It is for sure, Ken, because there are so many platforms that are specializing in different ways. And we are constantly learning the best platforms for the best results. I mean, there are no two platforms that are alike. And we were explaining to a client just yesterday that we had employed a certain platform for his search engine optimization. It wasn't producing the results that we wanted, nor was it showing the transparency that we wanted for his data and how his search engine optimization was actually translating to more calls on his board. So we switched the platform. We didn't pass that cost on to him. We absorbed that cost and we applied it to his account, and we are seeing great results from it now. So you do have to be a lifelong learner. You absolutely have to look at every client as unique and figure out what it is. As marketing is always changing, there's never a silver bullet. So you have to
Right.
figure out what's going to work in that client scenario, and sometimes even for just a period of time. That's why I like to give things 90 days to work. If it doesn't work after 90 days, you got to pivot.
Well, don't you think that AI is going to interfere a little bit with this customer relationship part of a business? It seems to me, from what I'm seeing, that there seems to be a replacement of the personalization with the AI product. That's going to be a real tough bridge to cross for some people.
I think for some people, it can be a tough bridge to cross, as you said. However, I think that's where it comes down to translating the information and customizing it for the occasion. We are able to learn and to save certain voices on the AI prompts. But then when we're tailoring that for the industry or the client that we're serving, it actually makes it a lot easier to customize things on a enterprise level so that you're serving more clients simultaneously.
Right.
So I think as long as you know how to harness AI for the benefit of your team and your clients, I think you can win the day with it.
Do you encourage clients to become more automated versus
Absolutely.
more hands-on? Because we're all used to hands-on, and we all know what happens when we call places. Usually it's not a pleasant experience. We all know it. I don't care whether you're calling an airline or a big box store, and you hate to see businesses that have been developed by people follow that same pattern, because it's a consistent complaint
Yeah.
amongst all of us as consumers.
Yeah.
When we get
Agreed.
with our friends, when we get with our family, it's always sharing the same thing. If you tried, yeah, I can't get a hold of them. Medical office is a great example. I
Yes.
have a lot of friends that are docs through my golf play a lot of
Mhm.
golf. I have a
Mhm.
lot of buddies that are doctors, and they are frustrated with the way the profession is handled now. And as a patient, we're frustrated with the way it's handled.
It's interesting that you bring that up, Ken, because one of our clients is actually a medical practice consultant where she comes in and she cleans up medical practices and streamlines their systems using voice over IP, live agent answering, website changes, et cetera. And so we designed a 4-part revenue process for her company so that she could scale. And I think that one of the most important things that businesses often overlook is the power of systems. Something that my dad taught me very young in business was that people don't run your business. Systems run your business. You never own an employee. People come and
True.
go. So
Very
that's
true.
why you have to have systems that run and that you can put different people in charge of, train them so that if inevitably they go on to something better and greater and you want all of your team members to grow and learn and move forward, you never want to hold someone back. Your systems are in place so that the company doesn't stumble.
Yeah, the old word for that was organizational skills.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, really, back in my manufacturing, it was having things organized so that they could operate at an efficient level and people could be replaced with other people when, like you said, all people, they come and they go, and more businesses are prone to that nowadays. And it used to be just the service businesses, but it seems like people move around a lot now. And I would
Yeah,
think that's one of the challenges that your clients bring to you is that how am I going to deal with this turnover?
right.
And what do we do to keep them when we know there's benefits and we know there's just the atmosphere of the company and the overall mission? But I'm sure a lot of your clients are challenged with a turnover. And oh, by the way, ever since COVID, it just seems kind of like no one wants to be anywhere except work from home. So I'm sure you're challenged with that as well.
We are. We are. We have a wonderful hybrid situation where some of our team members are local and some are not. And even our local team members, they have the flexibility to decide when they need to work in the office and focus and when they need to be home with their families. I think if COVID taught us nothing, it taught us that we should be able to trust our employees with output, regardless of where they are. I'm a huge proponent of not being micromanaged myself. I don't like it. So if I can't trust a team member to get their work done, whether they're sitting in front of me at the office or whether they're at home with a baby on their lap, that's a me problem, and that's a employee accountability problem. So I understand the pros and cons of in office versus out of office, but again, I think it depends on the company culture, the type of the job that's being done, and what you're willing to do to retain and attract top talent. Because the more you empower others to succeed at their goals, the harder they will work in your company.
I believe that the collaboration is still a big part of being in business, but to your point, it
Absolutely.
applies differently depending on the kind of business that you're in. If it's heavy sales driven, you've got a sales force. I think collaboration around the office is really important
Yep.
because everybody has their ups and downs, and you kind of need the up people to pull up the down people. And you,
Mhm.
you need to have that. At least that's what I've seen in
Yeah.
my time in businesses, but now that's changing. And to your point, and if you're not competitive with the way you approach people and let them have some control, well, you're not going to have them anyways.
Right.
They're
Exactly.
just going to go
Exactly.
somewhere else. So where do
Yeah.
you see your business going in the next, I don't know, 10 years? What do you
Well, I
think? Five
certainly hope
years,
that
10
we're
years?
consistently scaling. God has been very good to us. And over the last 4 years, we have literally doubled in size year over year. This year, we're on track to grow by 30%. I would love to see us continue to scale with multiple lines of revenue serving our clients. I am so blessed by a team that is so much more talented and smarter than I am that I will be moving out of operations and into more of a sales and keynote speaking capacity in the coming days. And they will be working more on the fulfillment side for our clients. So, my goal is to build a lasting enterprise that empowers the American economy to help entrepreneurs grow. There's over 54 million small businesses in the United States. There's an 85% attrition rate in year two for those businesses.
Right.
85%,
Uh,
Ken. So if we can help stabilize the American economy by empowering and lifting up entrepreneurs, then we're leaving a lasting legacy. So that's what I hope that Far Beyond Marketing will be able to achieve.
as a country, we all have a different opinion on things, but I think bringing more jobs back to our country and focusing more within the borders of our country with the people that we have and helping the people that live here is a real positive way of doing things versus pushing business offshore. Not
Yeah.
to demean anybody or be disrespectful, but this all started years ago, probably way before you were in business. And to me, it all started to go downhill with NAFTA. And when
Yeah.
NAFTA was developed, and that was really the encouragement to do business outside of the country. And I was in the textile business, I was in the manufacturing business related to textiles, and NAFTA killed the textile industry, especially along the South, where nowadays there's a whole bunch of mills that went out of business and some other industries in electronics and everything. So, to your point, in order for those small businesses to grow, they have to have customers. And if
Yes.
we push the business somewhere else, then they can't have the customers. Because as
Right.
you and I know, it's hard being in business
Yes.
and you really have to want to live it. I don't know what you tell people when do you get many new business people that want to talk to you, or are your clients mostly a little further down the road?
Most of our clients have been in business for a fair amount of years, but they're stuck for one reason or another, say year 4, year 5, somewhere in there, and they just can't get over that hurdle. So we do a lot of consulting to help those businesses to get to the next level. We have done a little bit of consulting with startup businesses, but most of the time when we're starting a business, we're jumping in feet first and we're not doing a lot of research. We're just getting started and, figuring it out as we go. Most of our clients have been in business for a fair number of years before they call us.
Yeah, I don't know the percentage of startups in the country anymore. You mentioned the figure a short time ago. Was it 50 some million? You said small
54
business.
million was the stats that I had from 2022.
Right.
Mhm.
And then, so I don't know whether that's declined or it's kind of flattened out. I've never kept track of it. But
Yeah.
I would think that there's been a big shift in who's going into business. You
Mhm.
and I both know, I would assume it applies in Texas as well as Florida, that the strip centers and the typical retail stores, and we've got a mall that in our area was here when I moved to town too many decades ago to think about it. And it's just about defunct and closed and sad because I saw it when it was
Yeah.
brand new, and so people with the Amazons of today, it's pretty hard to be in the retail business unless you've got a real specialty store that could serve a segment, right?
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Business is changing. We have to change along with it. We have to embrace change. Change is hard, but change is good. And there's always going to be plenty of business to go around, free market capitalism.
Sure.
However, you have to be able to distinguish yourself among the competition. And that's a huge part of what we do at our firm as well, Ken, is we help people to tell the story of their business utilizing the story brand framework created by Donald Miller. So we walk all of our clients through the story brand framework, 7-part framework, so that people can talk about their business with confidence in a way that it cuts through the over 11 million messages that people are inundated with on a daily basis. We want people to understand what our clients do, what makes them different, and what problems our clients solve on behalf of them.
Is there still much need in the traditional printed media and direct mail, or is that slowly just all going away because it's replaced electronically?
No, I don't think so. I don't think direct mail is dead by any means. My first company in 2013 was a direct mail publication. I made a lot of money in that company. I think that this younger generation is now seeing direct mail as a commodity. They think it's cool to get something in the mail with their name on it. Oh my gosh, look at this. What an idea. In the same way that these younger kids think that email is snail mail. Why? Why would you email someone when you can text them? So I
Right.
think, again, it depends on the industry, it depends on the target customer that you're trying to acquire. Direct mail will always have a place in marketing in my mind.
I see on your website you do public speaking at events. People
Mhm.
have you. What type of industries do you do that for?
I've been asked to do a lot of public speaking for networking groups, Chamber of Commerce, Rotary clubs, online business. Business.com has picked up several of my articles. So, really, anyone, entrepreneurial groups, franchisors, franchisees, national brands. I love to come and speak to affiliate groups and women's groups and help them grow.
Well, give me your close on this so that I can let you go and get back to your day. Anything you want to say here at the end to kind of close it out about your company?
I would just encourage your listeners to not be intimidated by marketing and to not accept the blanket answers that have become so prevalent in our industry. Know that you can market with clarity and peace of mind, and that your marketing works for you, not the other way around.
Thanks for your time today, Amber. We appreciate you being on the show. So long for now. Remember, your business is the next business I want to know more about. Thanks for listening to the Biz-Network, your Everything About Business podcast. Please subscribe so you don't miss anything, and tell your friends about it also. I'm your host, Ken Nichols. See you again soon, and have a great week. Bye-bye.